The morning sun blazed over the training compound in Coronado, California, as Lieutenant Sarah Martinez adjusted her gear for what would become one of the most challenging days of her military career. She had already endured 18 months of grueling Navy SEAL training, pushing through barriers that had broken countless men before her. At 26, Sarah was not just any ordinary recruit. She was among the first women to attempt the legendary SEAL program, carrying the weight of history and expectation on her shoulders. Sarah's journey to this moment had been anything but conventional. Growing up in a small Texas town, she was the daughter of a mechanic and a school nurse. Her childhood was spent climbing trees, racing dirt bikes, and outperforming boys in every physical challenge she encountered. When other girls her age were playing with dolls, Sarah was studying military strategy books borrowed from the local library. Her father, a Vietnam veteran, had instilled in her a deep respect for service and sacrifice. The decision to join the Navy came after college, where she had excelled in both academics and athletics. Sarah graduated summa cum laude with a degree in engineering while simultaneously breaking multiple records on the university's swim team. Her professors remembered her not just for her intelligence, but for her relentless determination to solve problems that others deemed impossible. Basic training had been challenging but manageable. Sarah's physical conditioning was exceptional, and her mental toughness had been forged through years of competitive swimming and martial arts training. She had earned black belts in 3 different disciplines and could hold her breath underwater for nearly 4 minutes. More importantly, she possessed an analytical mind that could process complex tactical situations under extreme pressure. The SEAL training program, however, was designed to break even the strongest candidates. The instructors used psychological warfare, sleep deprivation, and physical exhaustion to weed out those who lacked the mental fortitude required for special operations. Sarah had watched dozens of male candidates ring the bell and quit, unable to endure the constant harassment and impossible standards. What made Sarah's experience particularly difficult was the added scrutiny she faced as a female candidate. Every movement was analyzed, every mistake magnified, and every success questioned. Some instructors seemed genuinely curious about her capabilities, while others appeared determined to prove that women had no place in elite military units. Major Richard Hawkins fell decidedly into the latter category. A 20-year veteran with multiple combat deployments, Hawkins had built his reputation on producing the toughest, most resilient SEALs in the Navy. He viewed the integration of women into special forces as a political experiment that would ultimately compromise mission effectiveness and unit cohesion. From the moment Sarah entered his training rotation, Hawkins made his disapproval clear. He assigned her the heaviest equipment, the most challenging routes during obstacle courses, and the least amount of rest between exercises. His verbal critiques were harsh and personal, often questioning whether she was taking a spot that belonged to a more deserving male candidate. Despite the additional pressure, Sarah continued to excel. She consistently finished in the top 10% of her class, demonstrated exceptional marksmanship skills, and showed remarkable composure during high-stress simulations. Her fellow trainees, initially skeptical, gradually began to respect her abilities and dedication. She never complained, never made excuses, and never asked for special treatment. The turning point came during a particularly brutal week of training known as Hell Week. Candidates were subjected to 5 days of continuous physical and mental challenges, with virtually no sleep. The exercise was designed to simulate the extreme conditions SEALs might face during extended combat operations. On the 4th day, as exhaustion clouded the judgment of even the strongest candidates, Sarah's team was tasked with a complex hostage rescue simulation. The scenario involved infiltrating a mock terrorist compound, neutralizing threats, and extracting civilians without casualties. Sarah had been assigned the role of team sniper, positioned to provide overwatch and eliminate specific targets on command. As the exercise unfolded, several critical mistakes were made by other team members. Communication broke down, timing was off, and what should have been a textbook operation began to fall apart. Sarah, observing from her elevated position, could see the entire situation deteriorating. Standard protocol dictated that she maintain her assigned position and await orders. but her tactical analysis suggested that immediate intervention was necessary to prevent mission failure. Making a split-second decision that would later prove controversial, Sarah abandoned her sniper position and moved to assist her struggling teammates. Her actions ultimately saved the mission, but they also violated direct orders and chain-of-command protocols. Major Hawkins was furious, viewing her initiative as insubordination rather than tactical brilliance. The debriefing session that followed was intense and confrontational. Hawkins questioned Sarah's judgment, her ability to follow orders, and her understanding of military hierarchy. Other instructors defended her actions, pointing out that real-world special operations often required split-second decisions and adaptive thinking. The debate revealed deep philosophical divisions within the training command about the role of independent judgment versus strict obedience in special forces operations. Sarah's performance during the remainder of Hell Week was flawless. She completed every challenge, supported struggling teammates, and maintained her composure despite the ongoing controversy surrounding her earlier actions. By the end of the week, even her harshest critics had to acknowledge her exceptional capabilities. The graduation ceremony for her training class was both a triumph and a source of new challenges. Sarah had not only survived one of the military's most demanding programs, but she had excelled in ways that surprised even her supporters. Her academic scores were among the highest in the program's history. Her physical performance met or exceeded every standard, and her leadership potential was evident to all who observed her. However, graduating from training was only the beginning. Sarah now faced the challenge of proving herself in an operational unit, where she would be the first woman many of her new teammates had ever served alongside. The transition from training to active duty would test not just her skills, but her ability to integrate into a tight-knit community that had never before included women. Her assignment to SEAL Team 6, one of the Navy's most elite units, was both an honor and a burden. The team had a reputation for handling the military's most sensitive and dangerous missions. Sarah would be working alongside operators who had years of combat experience and who had proven themselves in the world's most challenging environments. The team's commanding officer, Commander James Mitchell, was known for his pragmatic approach to leadership and his focus on mission effectiveness over personal politics. He had specifically requested Sarah's assignment, believing that her unique skill set and training performance made her an asset to the team, regardless of gender. Sarah's first few weeks with the team were marked by careful observation and gradual acceptance. Her new teammates were professional but cautious, unsure how to integrate a female operator into their established routines and protocols. Training exercises were conducted with extra attention to safety and procedure, as everyone understood that any incident involving the team's first female member would be scrutinized by military leadership and the media. During this period, Sarah focused on proving her competence through consistent performance rather than dramatic gestures. She volunteered for additional training, studied team procedures meticulously, and worked to build personal relationships with her teammates. Her approach was methodical and patient, understanding that earning trust and respect would take time. The team's first major mission assignment came sooner than expected. Intelligence reports indicated that a high-value terrorist target was operating from a compound in a hostile region overseas. The mission would require deep infiltration, precise timing, and flawless execution. Commander Mitchell selected Sarah for the operation, confident in her abilities despite her lack of operational experience. As the team prepared for deployment, the weight of expectation and responsibility settled on Sarah's shoulders. She understood that her performance on this mission would not just affect her own career, but would influence the military's decisions about women in special operations for years to come. Success would open doors for other women, while failure could set back integration efforts indefinitely. The deployment to the Middle East marked Sarah's transition from trainee to operational SEAL. The team's forward operating base was a stark, dusty compound, surrounded by concrete barriers and razor wire. The constant threat of mortar attacks and improvised explosive devices created an atmosphere of heightened alertness that never fully subsided. Sarah quickly adapted to the rhythm of deployment life. Days were filled with intelligence briefings, equipment maintenance, and tactical planning sessions. Nights often brought mission alerts and rapid deployments to various locations throughout the region. The work was demanding and dangerous, but it was exactly what Sarah had trained for throughout her military career. Her teammates gradually warmed to her presence as they observed her professional competence and personal integrity. Chief Petty Officer Marcus Thompson, a veteran with over a decade of special operations experience, became an unofficial mentor. He appreciated Sarah's technical skills and her ability to remain calm under pressure, qualities he considered essential for mission success. The team's operational tempo was intense. They conducted reconnaissance missions, direct action raids, and hostage rescue operations with increasing frequency. Sarah participated in each mission with growing confidence, demonstrating tactical awareness and combat effectiveness that impressed even skeptical observers. However, not everyone was pleased with Sarah's integration into the team. Major Hawkins, who had opposed her advancement through training, had been temporarily assigned to the region as a liaison officer. His presence created tension and uncertainty, as his previous conflicts with Sarah were well known throughout the special operations community. Hawkins used his position to scrutinize Sarah's performance more closely than any other team member. He attended mission briefings uninvited, questioned tactical decisions that involved Sarah, and filed detailed reports about her conduct that seemed designed to identify problems rather than acknowledge successes. The situation came to a head during a particularly complex mission in an urban environment. The team had been tasked with capturing a bomb maker who was responsible for several recent attacks on coalition forces. Intelligence indicated that the target was hiding in a residential area where civilian casualties had to be avoided at all costs. Sarah's role in the mission was crucial. Her engineering background and technical expertise made her the logical choice to disable any explosive devices found at the target location. She had spent additional hours studying bomb-making techniques and countermeasures, preparing for scenarios that might arise during the operation. The insertion went smoothly, with the team infiltrating the target area under cover of darkness. Sarah moved with her assigned partner through narrow alleyways, using night vision equipment to navigate the complex urban terrain. Communication was maintained through encrypted radio channels, with each team member reporting their position and status at regular intervals. As they approached the target building, Sarah's partner detected movement that suggested the presence of additional hostiles not identified in the original intelligence briefing. The tactical situation was becoming more complex and dangerous than anticipated, requiring immediate adaptation of their operational plan. Sarah quickly assessed the new threat environment and proposed an alternative approach that would minimize risk to both the team and nearby civilians. Her suggestion involved using her technical skills to disable the building's electrical system, creating confusion that would facilitate their entry and capture of the target. The plan worked flawlessly. Sarah successfully disabled the power grid, allowing her teammates to enter the building during the resulting chaos. The bomb maker was captured without resistance, and a significant cache of explosive materials was secured for later analysis. The mission was completed without casualties or civilian harm. Despite the operation's success, Major Hawkins found fault with Sarah's initiative in modifying the tactical plan. During the post-mission debrief, he criticized her for deviating from established procedures and questioned whether her actions had unnecessarily endangered the team. His critique was met with strong disagreement from other team members who had witnessed Sarah's tactical brilliance firsthand. Commander Mitchell defended Sarah's performance, noting that special operations routinely required adaptive thinking and creative problem-solving. He emphasized that mission success was the ultimate measure of effectiveness, and Sarah's contributions had been essential to achieving their objectives safely and efficiently. The confrontation between Hawkins and the operational team created a rift that extended beyond personal animosity. It represented a fundamental disagreement about the nature of special operations and the role of individual judgment in combat situations. Hawkins represented the old guard that valued strict adherence to established procedures, while the operational team embraced innovation and adaptability. Sarah found herself at the center of this philosophical divide, serving as a symbol for broader changes occurring within the military. Her gender made her a lightning rod for debates about tradition versus progress. But her performance continued to speak for itself through consistent mission success and professional excellence. As weeks passed, Sarah's reputation within the special operations community continued to grow. Other teams began requesting her expertise for technical missions, and her innovative approaches to complex problems became topics of discussion in tactical development circles. She was building a legacy based on competence rather than controversy. The team's next major assignment came with little warning. Intelligence sources had identified a terrorist training camp operating in a remote mountainous region. The facility was believed to be training operatives for attacks on Western targets, and its elimination had become a high priority for military commanders. The mission would require a complex infiltration across difficult terrain, followed by a coordinated assault on a well-defended position. Sarah's role would involve disabling communication equipment and explosive storage areas to prevent the terrorists from calling for reinforcements or destroying evidence. Preparation for the mission was extensive and meticulous. The team studied satellite imagery, weather patterns, and terrain features for days. They rehearsed various scenarios using detailed mock-ups and computer simulations. Every aspect of the operation was planned and practiced until it became second nature. Major Hawkins inserted himself into the planning process, ostensibly to provide additional oversight and coordination. However, his presence created tension and distraction as he continued to question decisions and suggest alternative approaches that other team members considered unnecessarily complex or risky. The philosophical differences between Hawkins and the operational team created an undercurrent of conflict that threatened to undermine mission effectiveness. Sarah found herself walking a careful line, trying to maintain professional relationships while defending her tactical assessments and recommendations. 2 days before the scheduled mission launch, a significant change occurred that would alter the entire dynamic of the operation. New intelligence indicated that the terrorist camp was hosting a gathering of high-value targets from multiple organizations. The mission's importance increased dramatically, but so did its complexity and risk level. The expanded objectives required additional team members and resources. Sarah's role became even more critical, as her technical expertise would be essential for gathering intelligence from captured equipment and materials. The success or failure of the mission could significantly impact ongoing counterterrorism efforts throughout the region. As final preparations were completed, tension between different factions within the command structure reached a breaking point. Hawkins made a formal recommendation that Sarah be removed from the mission, citing concerns about her experience level and the operation's increased importance. His suggestion was immediately and forcefully rejected by Commander Mitchell, who considered Sarah's participation essential for mission success. The confrontation that followed would become a defining moment in Sarah's career and in the broader integration of women into special operations. It would test not only her professional capabilities, but also her ability to maintain composure under extreme personal and professional pressure. The final confrontation began in the command briefing room, with tension thick enough to cut with a knife. Major Hawkins had escalated his objections to Sarah's mission participation to the highest levels of command, forcing a heated discussion about operational readiness and personnel decisions just hours before deployment. Commander Mitchell stood firm in his support of Sarah, presenting detailed performance evaluations and mission analysis that demonstrated her value to the team. He emphasized that removing any team member at this late stage would compromise operational effectiveness and potentially endanger the entire mission. Sarah remained professionally silent during the debate, understanding that defending herself would only escalate the conflict further. Her teammates, however, were not similarly constrained. Chief Thompson and several other senior operators spoke forcefully about Sarah's contributions and their confidence in her abilities. The dispute reached its climax when Hawkins made a comment that crossed professional boundaries entirely. In front of the assembled command staff, he stated that if Sarah couldn't handle the pressure of being questioned about her qualifications, perhaps someone should break her nose to toughen her up and see if she had what it takes to be a real warrior. The room fell completely silent. Even officers who had been neutral in the previous discussions were shocked by the inappropriate nature of Hawkins's statement. It represented not just poor judgment, but a fundamental misunderstanding of military professionalism and conduct standards. Commander Mitchell immediately called for a private meeting with Major Hawkins, but the damage had already been done. Word of the incident spread quickly through the special operations community, creating additional scrutiny and pressure around an already complex situation. What Hawkins didn't realize was that his comment had been overheard by several junior officers and enlisted personnel who had tremendous respect for Sarah's capabilities and character. His words would eventually reach audiences far beyond the immediate command structure, with consequences he had never anticipated. Despite the controversy, the mission proceeded as scheduled. Sarah's professionalism throughout the incident had impressed even neutral observers, and her technical expertise remained essential for achieving mission objectives. The team deployed under cover of darkness, with full confidence in their preparation and capabilities. The insertion phase went exactly according to plan. The team infiltrated the mountainous terrain, using advanced equipment and techniques that allowed them to approach the terrorist camp undetected. Sarah's conditioning and training proved invaluable as they navigated challenging terrain under extreme physical demands. As they reached their final approach positions, the team could observe the target facility through advanced surveillance equipment. The intelligence had been accurate. Multiple high-value targets were present, along with a significant cache of weapons and communication equipment that needed to be secured or destroyed. Sarah's technical assessment revealed that the terrorists had sophisticated communication systems and potentially valuable intelligence materials stored in hardened facilities. Her recommendations for approaching these targets were incorporated into the final tactical plan, demonstrating the integration and trust she had earned from her teammates. The assault phase began with precision timing and flawless execution. Each team member performed their assigned role perfectly, with Sarah successfully disabling communication equipment and securing critical intelligence materials. Her actions prevented the terrorists from calling for reinforcements and ensured that valuable information would be available for analysis. During the operation, Sarah encountered an unexpected challenge when she discovered that one of the storage facilities contained advanced explosive devices rigged with anti-tamper mechanisms. Her engineering background and explosive ordnance training became crucial as she carefully disabled the devices while under time pressure and in a potentially hostile environment. The successful completion of her technical tasks allowed the team to capture multiple high-value targets and secure intelligence materials that would later prove invaluable for ongoing counterterrorism operations. The mission was completed without casualties and with all objectives achieved beyond the original expectations. As the team extracted from the target area, their professional satisfaction was evident. They had executed a complex operation flawlessly, demonstrating the effectiveness of their training and the value of their integrated capabilities. Sarah's contributions had been essential to the mission's success, validating the confidence her commanders had placed in her abilities. The aftermath of the mission brought unexpected developments that would reshape Sarah's career and the broader conversation about women in special operations. The intelligence materials she had secured led to the identification and disruption of terrorist networks across multiple countries, saving countless lives and preventing numerous planned attacks. More importantly for Sarah's immediate situation, the incident with Major Hawkins had generated significant attention from senior military leadership. An investigation was launched into his conduct and decision-making, with particular focus on his treatment of female personnel and his understanding of modern military standards. The investigation revealed a pattern of inappropriate behavior and outdated attitudes that extended beyond Sarah's case. Multiple witnesses came forward to describe incidents where Hawkins had demonstrated bias against female personnel and made comments that violated military equal opportunity policies. When the investigation findings were released, Major Hawkins faced significant disciplinary action that effectively ended his career advancement opportunities. He was reassigned to a non-operational position and required to complete extensive training on contemporary military standards and leadership practices. Sarah's response to the entire situation demonstrated the professionalism and maturity that had characterized her military career from the beginning. Rather than seeking personal vindication or pursuing further action against Hawkins, she focused on continuing her operational duties and supporting other women entering special operations programs. Her success became a powerful example for military leaders and personnel throughout the armed forces. She had proven that integration could be achieved without compromising operational effectiveness, and that diversity could actually enhance mission capabilities when implemented thoughtfully and professionally. The story of Sarah's confrontation with Major Hawkins and her subsequent vindication spread throughout the military community and beyond. It became a case study in leadership schools and professional development programs, illustrating both the challenges and opportunities associated with organizational change. Sarah's career continued to flourish as she took on increasingly complex and important assignments. Her technical expertise and operational experience made her a valuable asset for missions requiring specialized skills, and her leadership potential was recognized through assignments to training and development positions. Years later, when reflecting on the incident that had defined much of her early career, Sarah emphasized the importance of maintaining professional standards and focusing on mission effectiveness rather than personal conflicts. She credited her teammates and supportive leaders for creating an environment where her capabilities could be demonstrated and recognized. The broader impact of Sarah's career extended far beyond her individual achievements. She had helped establish precedents and protocols that would benefit future generations of women entering special operations and other previously closed military specialties. Her example proved that integration could succeed when based on merit and professional competence. Major Hawkins eventually left the military and pursued civilian employment, though his reputation followed him throughout his subsequent career. The incident served as a reminder to military leaders about the importance of adapting to changing organizational realities and maintaining professional conduct regardless of personal opinions. Sarah's story became an inspiration for young women considering military careers and for military leaders working to create more inclusive and effective organizations. Her success demonstrated that excellence and professionalism could overcome prejudice and resistance, paving the way for future progress in military integration efforts. The legacy of her confrontation with Major Hawkins served as both a warning about the costs of failing to adapt to change and an example of how individual courage and competence could drive institutional transformation. Sarah had not only proven herself as a warrior, but had helped reshape the military's understanding of what modern warfare required from its personnel.